Welcome to Geosynthetica's GeoTalk podcast, where we discuss geosynthetics and the affiliated issues in civil and geotechnical engineering. I'm Chris Kelsey, editor of geosynthetica.net. Mechanically stabilized earth walls have been the subject of the most read stories on Geosynthetica this year, and a number of the most read stories in 2016 as well. This past spring, some of that field interest in MSE design became the focus of a unique meeting at the Geotechnical Frontiers 2017 conference. There, the ASCE Geo Institute Technical Committee on Geosynthetics brought together leading MSE experts in the field to provide big picture lectures and foster discussion on three major MSE design frameworks: limit equilibrium, K-stiffness, and AASHTO, FHWA. I sat down with Dr. Jorge Zornberg, who was part of convening that meeting. He's a professor at the University of Texas at Austin and immediate past president of the International Geosynthetics Society. We discussed the outcomes from that gathering. My guest today is Dr. Jorge Zornberg. He's a professor of engineering at the University of Texas at Austin, and he's the immediate past president of the International Geosynthetics Society. Dr. Zornberg, you convened a very high-level working meeting last night here at Geotechnical Frontiers on MSE wall design frameworks. And this presented some pretty diverse approaches. Okay, can you tell us briefly what these approaches are and why you convened this meeting?
Yeah, this is the Technical Committee on Geosynthetics from the Geo Institute of ASCE, the American Society of Civil Engineers, and I chair that committee, and we started receiving requests from, for example, the Federal Highway Administration to be involved in the review of some design guidelines. And it turns out that as a group, our group is a broad-based, technically strong, unbiased group that we felt that we can provide a good service by doing a critical assessment of three different methods. And the way that this works is no method is perfect. All methods have advantages, all methods have disadvantages, and at this point you can design a geosynthetic reinforced wall with following one out of three reasonably different approaches. So there is a certain movement from FHWA and maybe AASHTO as well in trying to revise or potentially refine or update their current design guidelines, so a group like ours can be of value to provide feedback on these methods.
And these were dealing with the K-stiffness approach, the limit equilibrium approach, and
the current AASHTO. So the names have changed over time, but the current name of those frameworks, I would call them, one is what is called the simplified stiffness method or framework, the other is the limit equilibrium framework, and the other is the simplified AASHTO method.
Sure.
So one of them is the AASHTO method that is currently in AASHTO. I would say that the other two are being considered either by AASHTO, by FHWA, or by both.
Yeah. Now, is one of the basic differences between these systems, is it simply in the assumptions you have to make going into the design?
Correct. So the differences are the assumptions that you need to make into design. What is the output that you expect from the design? What is the philosophy that you're going to be using for design? Are you going to design considering what is the ultimate collapse or loads that occur at collapse of the structure, or are you going to design considering what are the working stresses that the structure is expected to have during most of its design life.
Yeah.
So are we designing for a limit state? Are we designing for working stress conditions? Are we designing considering or not considering deformations? Are we what is the mechanics of the method? How much are we taking into account or not existing calibration with existing data?
So now with getting these three diverse approaches discussed in the same meeting, what's the outcome? What are the next action points we have?
First, let me tell you that the discussion was extremely productive.
Yes.
Because
it went late into the night.
Yeah, it went late into the night. I think that we were 5.5 hours, not strictly only doing this, but in total. And what's the next stage? The next step is now we took this as a field collection data. We got directly from the leaders or authors of these methods, we got the opportunity to quiz them and ask questions, ask hard questions, high-level technical questions. Now we're going to take this feedback plus documents that we have that have been generated and compile the different comments, critiques, remaining questions, and this is going to be done in an organized manner in order to be able to provide the compilation or comparison of the assessment of each method. It's not our intention, and this is by design.
Yeah.
It's not our intention to make a recommendation.
Yeah.
You should use method A, B, or C.
Yeah. No.
That's off the table.
Yeah.
But we want to be able to provide as much technical feedback as possible from each one of the three.
Yeah. Well, I think it's a fantastic endeavor. There's been a lot of chatter about it here at the show. I think there was a lot of interest in it before the show, so I think you hit the right note and have this project moving in a way that's going to be of real benefit.
It appears now that we need to move fast because it appears that some agencies may take this into consideration, but there is a certain timeline, so it's adding a little bit of the pressure to trying to get the job done. We'll get there.
That's the kind of pressure that will help get it done.
That is true.
Yeah.
That is true.
Dr. Zornberg, I know you have a very busy schedule. I really appreciate you taking time to talk to us about this today, and I'm sure we will check in with you again about it as this project goes forth.
Very good.
Thank you so much.
Chris.
And you can learn more about the Geo Institute's committees, events, and technical resources for its 11,500 plus members through the ASCE website, www.asce.org. We've also got a direct link to the Geo Institute's pages in the podcast article for this broadcast on www.geosynthetica.net. Click on the media tab there for resources related to this podcast and others. As always, thank you for listening. We look forward to bringing you another podcast next Tuesday, and we welcome your ideas for topics and interview subjects.